Welcome back to Julie's Village. I'm glad you're here. In this episode, I'm going to talk about another strategy that can be used when trying to teach skills to help reduce negative behaviors. This strategy can also be used if you are trying to help children understand how their choices and behaviors impact other people. Just start helping with that empathetic thinking. So, this strategy is the social story strategy. There is a formula that I use when I'm writing my own social stories to help in teaching specific skills. The very first thing I do is think about where is the setting that this happens the most frequently. For today's example, I'm just going to use the grocery store. So the first thing I do is in first person language, I describe the grocery store and the experience of going to the grocery store and why I think the child seems to like it. For instance, I might say something like, I love going to the grocery store with mom. And then I might speak specifically about, like, I especially love when we get to go to the toy aisle or the candy aisle or whatever it is that your child seems to like. That's where you would highlight. And then I might say some things about it, like I love all of the colors, or I love the different flavors of candy, or whatever it is. Then I mention something about when we start to see a problem occur. For instance, I might say something like, I love when I get to choose something to take home. And then I might say something like, sometimes when I ask mom, she says no. Then I switch perspectives. Now we go to third person and just speak in generalities about the behavior that is seen. So I would say something like, it hurts people's ears when someone is yelling and screaming. I might say something like, people will choose to go down different aisles because it's scary when someone is yelling and screaming. Something like that, that just highlights what the behavior is and again, what the impact is on other people. Then, when I feel like I've described there what I want to and what I hope that they will see, then I switch back to first person and talk about what how they can respond in a way that's positive. For instance, you might do self-talk in this situation, like I can tell myself maybe next time when mom says no. And then I finish off again with a really positive about going to the grocery store. It is Everybody feels good when we have a great time at the grocery store, something like that. So that is the layout of the story. Again, you would pick the setting, keep it first person when you're describing why they enjoyed the setting and what they what the lead up to the behavior is, then switch to third person to talk about the response to the behavior or when the behavior does occur, then and even if you wanted to include a response to the behavior, you could in there. And then the last part, you switch back to first person, showing the positive decision that they can make, the positive behavior that they can demonstrate, and then a wrap up of how this feels to have this good experience in this setting. So then the next piece is illustrating. Some people draw their own pictures. That is just fine. If you prefer, I'm not very artistic, so I prefer to use pictures. Sometimes I use pictures of the student doing the thing that they enjoy or being in that setting. But again, when I'm showing pictures of the behavior that I don't want to see, I don't want to show the student doing those behaviors or the child doing those behaviors because we want to help get that image out of their head. We don't want them visualizing themselves doing what we don't want them to be doing. So, in that case, I might show a picture of people responding, or I might show a picture of somebody else and the responses. And then at the end, I would show pictures of that child again in that setting in a positive light. It doesn't have to be pictures of the child, though. You can just pull pictures, clip art, or other type clip art type of pictures, or realistic pictures or symbols. The illustration, the important thing to capture in any illustrations is the emotions on the faces, and that is something that you can point out as well, using those words and then pointing out those facial expressions and what they look like throughout the story can help again with that empathetic thinking. If you have any suggestions for social stories or questions or examples of things that you've seen work well, I invite you to put that in the comments. If you have questions about topics that you would like to see in future episodes or people that you would like to see on this channel, I invite you to leave that in the comments as well. If this information is helpful for you, I invite you to like, share, subscribe. That helps make this channel more accessible to more people. Thank you so much.